Hello, it's Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers. In this occasional series of talks, I'm going to talk about some very well-known cases in English common law. Probably one of the most famous cases is the case of Carlill and the Carbolic Smokeball Company in 1893. You've probably all heard of this case, but do you actually remember very much about it? That's the question. And the aim of this particular clip is to give you some idea and just refresh your memory a little bit about what this case was about, because it's the law of contract and it's communication of an offer. I don't know if you've ever seen the original advertisement. Well, I've got it here, and I'm going to hold it up and you can see it. There it is. It's clearly showing a particular advertisement. Now, the facts of the matter were very clear. This advertisement was placed, and the question really is, could it contain an offer? Well, what you did is you had a lady, Mrs. Carlill, who claimed the reward which was being offered by this advertisement, offered by the Carbolic Smokeball Company, for anyone who used its smoke ball, which is actually a form of medical vaporizer or inhaler, but caught influenza. So in fact they caught influenza. The company obviously was offering £100. They, however, refused to pay Mrs. Carlill, and they said that this so-called offer of £100, you can see it says £100 reward. The £100 was mere marketing puff and not intended to have any basis in the law of contract. Mrs. Carlill argued that it was an offer which she had accepted by buying and using the smoke ball in accordance with the instructions, and there were fairly detailed instructions set out. She won her case because the court decided that it was an offer that could be taken seriously and was not just an advertising gimmick. The court also went on to say that an offer could be made to the whole world and that anyone hearing the offer could accept it. It just had to have been communicated to the individual claiming to have accepted it, and in this case Mrs. Carlill did. Now, the interesting fact is that Mrs. Carlill lived to the ripe old age of 96, and she died in 1942 of influenza. Now, that's probably a little bit of a flippant point, but the case is in the hearts of many a law student, because Carlill and Carbolic Smokeball probably is one of the cornerstones of modern case law. And also, the basic rule, remember, when you're doing a revision, the basic rule is Mrs. Carlill had a valid contract, an offer can be made to the whole world. That's the very basis of the law of contract. I'm going to do a whole series of these very short clips, and I hope you find this particular one of interest. Can I just say that if you try and look for this case in the law reports, you'll have some problems, because what has happened is the case has obviously been cited by later cases, so the real review of this authority is now in the case of Fisher versus Bell, which is a case from the 20th century. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.